Hello everyone, this is Richard. Welcome to another edition of Starfield Essentials. We're going to change things up tonight. I'm trying out the Seamless Neon mod, and I thought I would try putting myself on camera as we try this out. So here we go. I'll put the details of what Seamless Neon is in post-production, but the idea is that it has made it possible to travel to all parts of Neon. In other words, less loading screens. Yes, hello, mysterious tracker. I keep avoiding this character. Now, apparently, with this mod, you should just be able to go from here right into Xenofresh or other places. So, let's try that. This is a test character that I have. And apparently, I should be able to just zip right up here. Look at that. Oh, get up there. Come on. There we go. Nice. Okay. All right. So far, so good. So if you've been following at all what's been going on with Starfield, you'll know that the developers had to make different choices in order to accommodate the limitations of the hardware that they were optimizing the game for. And trying to make Neon a single large cell like this was probably going to be a strain on things like my Xbox Series S and lower hardware. So instead, they broke Neon into cells, and in some cases, it might have gotten a little out of hand. But thanks to this mod, here we are playing with Seamless Neon. Now, the question is, can I get even farther here? Let's see where I can go. Let's see if I can get up to the roof of Neon. Thankfully, I have my... Oh, no, my boost back can't not do it. Okay, we're going to have to rest here and get the boost back. This is a little bit different compared to other videos that I've made in the past. One reason is I've spent the week trying to benchmark Linux versus Windows performance. And, oh, there we go. Come on, come on. There we go. Good job. And it turns out this is a more difficult problem than you might expect. I didn't just want to benchmark any Linux against Windows. I wanted to benchmark the 4 different distros that I try running. Those being Linux Mint, Bazite, Pika OS, and now Kashi OS. And in order to do proper benchmarking, I had to come up with a Mango HUD profile that would work with the 4 versions of Linux. And then I had to come up with a way to capture commensurate statistics on Windows. And I done... Yes, chunks! Chunks, chunks, chunks! 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 Yes, okay. So I had to come up with different ways to capture statistics, and I wanted to try the most lightweight possible way to do it. I wanted to try to be as simple as possible. So for example, I'm using MSI Afterburner for my undervolt here on Windows. Actually, on Linux, I use LACT, which works really nicely. So I thought maybe there was some way I could use MSI Afterburner, but it didn't have all the stats that I needed. So then I tried combining the RTSS overlay with MSI Afterburner, and I thought, okay, this will give me the raw statistics that I need, and it turned out that didn't work either. So I ended up going with CapFrame X, which is a program that I've used in previous benchmarking. I don't talk too much about that, but I have used that before. And I was able to get some nice statistics to compare Windows and Linux. And there's probably no surprise here if you're at all sort of clued into Linux gaming compared to Windows gaming. Linux is not magic. So Linux is good for some games, but it is not the best for every game. And Starfield is one of those games. And the reason is because, oh no, come on, just a little bit. Oh no. The reason is Windows uses DX12, and DX12 is not really working that well with NVIDIA on Linux. There's been a lot of work done in, oh, look at that. If I could just get up there, that would be really interesting. There's been a lot of work done on this in the last, say, 6 to 9 months, and I remain confident that Linux with NVIDIA will eventually catch up to Windows and possibly even go past it. But we're just not there yet. And my initial benchmarking has shown that Windows is still the best performer when it comes to Starfield, and the second best OS, if you were going to guess, would be what? Kashi OS. Yes, it's true. And it's not zealotry on my part. I'm really Linux agnostic, but I tried those 4 Linux distros that I mentioned, and Kashi OS had the best performance. So there's one other topic that I'd like to talk about today while we are exploring Neon, and that is the future of Xbox. So we know that there is an Xbox tax. We know that people love to talk about Xbox is dead because they're fans of PlayStation or they like to dunk on Microsoft or whatever the reason is. And every studio, every publisher has been having issues over the past many years since COVID. Xbox is no exception. One of the big differences is that Xbox likes to talk a lot about it, and as a result, other people talk about what Xbox is doing. Now, how does this affect Starfield? Well, Starfield is made by Bethesda Game Studios, who is part of ZeniMax. And ZeniMax was purchased by Microsoft several years ago for, what, 7.8 billion or 7 billion, some large amount of money. The rumor has been that there will be layoffs at a ton of Microsoft properties, to include ZeniMax. And some have gone so far as to say that if you are not working on The Elder Scrolls 6 or Fallout 5, then you are going to lose your job at ZeniMax/Bethesda. Oh, someone is landing. Let's see if we can go find them. Well, that would sound pretty bad for Starfield. Here's why I think that probably won't have that big of an effect on Starfield. The reason is people have already been working on The Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout 5 at ZeniMax. In fact, I'm pretty confident that there is probably a tiny group of people working on Starfield at this point. And the reason is those two other games need to be published. And Starfield is already out there as an established property, and the creator community, which is going to turn out to be very important, I think, is doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. So why is this good in some ways for Starfield? Well, if you think about the studios that have been rumored to be having problems, these are studios that tend to release a game and then there's no more money. So let's think, for example, about Double Fine, the producer of Psychonauts and Psychonauts 2. They produce a game, they sell it, it makes some money, perhaps it gets added to Game Pass, and then that's it. And then later on, they produce another game like Psychonauts 2. It makes money, perhaps it gets added to Game Pass, and then that's it. That revenue model is a lot different from, say, the revenue model that's associated with Starfield. With a game like Starfield, all those things are true, like I just said, about publish, make money, get added to... Oh, let's check that out. Yeah, see, this is where Seamless Starfield comes into play. I just dropped right into the... Oof. Oh, no, contusions. Anyway, so... if you think about the Starfield model, Starfield also has revenue as a result of the paid creations model. So Bethesda and Microsoft don't have to do anything other than operate infrastructure, and they get the majority of the money that comes out of paid creations. So we don't know what kind of money Microsoft is making from paid creations, but it is something. And we do know that paid creations sell very well. In fact, probably my biggest video of the last 6 months... Back to chunks. My best sell, or not, I don't sell anything. My best viewed video of the last 6 months was about my favorite paid creations of 2026. And why is that? Because people want to know what to spend their money on. So this is a good thing for Starfield, because it means that if I were Asha Sharma, who I think is a smart business person, if I were looking at the franchises that are available to her, she would want a game like Starfield, as well as a game like Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout 5 that have paid creations, because it is another form of revenue that can be brought in to support not only those studios, but other parts of her Xbox empire. So I think maybe in the short term, Starfield is not going to get support because it's going to be all hands on deck for the Elder Scrolls 6 and Fallout 5. But in the medium to long term, Starfield is actually in a good place because it is part of the Bethesda machine that makes money not only via sales of the game and being on Game Pass, but also by collecting that sweet creations royalty money. Let me know if you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you like this format. I'd like to thank all of my channel members. You are the ones who make this sort of thing possible. I use a lot of open source software to make these videos, but not all. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you to all of my subscribers. We got through 9,000 subscribers recently. That was really awesome. I greatly appreciate every single one of you, especially when you leave comments and we engage in conversation about this awesome game. Some of you leave comments thinking that it is not such an awesome game, and I'll engage with you as well. But if you start telling me that it is objectively a failure, then I'm going to politely tell you, no, that's there's no such thing as objectivity in art, and Starfield is a piece of art. If you like the channel, please feel free to subscribe. I hope to get to 10,000 by the end of the year. That would be great. So with that, I thank you for joining me in this video. My name is Richard, and I will see you in the Starfield.